Hi, this is Author Ravi, and this is going to be another video that I'm creating on my YouTube channel, and you can find me on Reddit and different platforms. So this year itself, I just made myself available to just spread one awareness about the process of manifestation, which I prefer it to be calling as the art of conscious living. And the main intention, once again, like I've been repeating this again and again, is to spread the right awareness of the process of manifestation. It is not something, a tool or technique which is to be done under the moon or on the paper or scripting or journaling or listening to subliminals. It goes way beyond that, and this is something I'm not speculating. This is something not I'm theorizing. This is something I'm telling you from the experience. So after practicing this law, and thanks to Neville Goddard, whose work really helped me to find out the real meaning of life and the manifestation. So it is not a tool or technique, it's a way of living. And the main intention once again remains the same, to tell all the people who can listen to this the real and main, what is the real manifestation, what it is. Because in this age, I believe it is truly important to understand what manifestation is. It is not a tool or technique to achieve your desires. And this is, I'm telling you from my experience. This year itself, I just made myself available on the online platform just to share my knowledge. And this is not something that will work on one guy, or not work on others. This is something which is universal to the life, and I really hope you truly get this and put it to the good use. So yes, like this is the topic I was very shy to share my insights about. Neville Goddard, if you don't know about him, he's the teacher who lived in 1930s or something till 1978-72. He was the most prominent teacher or the guide in the field of manifestation, what people usually call it. Otherwise, it's just the art of conscious living, how one should live the life. So this is something that I've learned from the experience, you can say from the scriptures. In the Indian case scenario, like if you look at the Hindu scriptures, Ramayana, Mahabharata, each and everything is all about the manifestation or the art of conscious living. But we really do not seem to realize the same, because when we look at the scripture, we look at something that has happened in the past and happened to something else, to someone else. We see something scriptures as that has happened in the past, it was about something else, it was for the something else, like completely giving the directions to the outside of our body. And then we go into the details of the story, the characters, the properties, the significance of the characters, the stories behind it, but we really do not seem to understand like what it is. It is the topic I was so shy about to share this online. And manifestation, what you all the people usually call it, each and every scripture is all about that. It's just a matter of perspective, and this is something I'm not speculating. I have tested this, and this is not theorizing. It is again like coming straight out of my experience, and I'm really hoping you put it to the test and you test this on yourself. And yes, if it proves in the performance, yes, then you might have proved the scriptures to be true. So when we look at the Mahabharata, the Gita, the very first chapter, we see a Gita between as a dialogue between Arjuna, who's the warrior, the main protagonist of the war of Mahabharata, the battle of 10 kings in Indian scripture, and the dialogue between Arjuna and the Lord Krishna. And we see something as a Krishna, a god, which is something external to us. And he had a conversation with Arjuna regarding the life. And we go on about the day, right? Moving from temples to temple, preaching and praising Krishna, and remembering the dialogues of Krishna, but we really do not realize what it is all about. So this is something I have learned and I have experienced this. So no matter who or what comes in front of me and tell me the otherwise, it's not going to convince me. And this might seem something egoistic, but you will feel the same once you test it, and it proves you in the performance. So the dialogue between the Krishna and Arjuna, even if you look at the Gita, if you pick up any or buy any Gita, the very front page, the book cover, you will see Arjuna is riding on a chariot, a chariot, and he's sitting, and Lord Krishna is the charioteer, Sarthi in Hindi we usually call it, and the Rath has 5 horses, and the dialogue goes on and on and on between Arjuna and the Krishna. And before the war, Arjuna get down on his knees and ask Krishna for his help. What should he do? How he himself can kill his relatives. The war was all about Arjuna versus his relatives. And I'm not here to challenge any learned pundits or the scholars. Again, I'm gonna say the same thing to them. Test it. So what actually happens in the war? Just before the war, Arjuna bows down onto his knees and asks Krishna for his help, how he can kill his own relatives. He's not able to. And we see this as a story between the Arjuna, a person that lived in the past, and Lord Krishna that lived in the past, and this whole story unfolded in the past. But let me tell you, this is not a story of the past. It is not a secular history. The story is going on right now in each and every one of us. So you might be thinking how it is connected to the manifestation. I'll tell you how. When we look at the Mahabharata, the Battle of 10 Kings, or the chapters of Gita, we think something has happened in the past. But it is not. It is a story of a war that goes inside of each and every individual throughout his lifetime. It is an eternal story. It is not a story that happened once in the past. It is continuously happening in each and every one of us, continuously throughout the eternity, and it will keep on going. It is not a war which took 18 days in the past. No. It is not a war that happened few thousand years ago. No. It is a war continuously going inside of me, inside of you, and everyone you know around you. Each and every individual. It is not limited to the Hindus only. It is not limited to the Christians only. It is limited to each and every human individual. So, we see a picture of Arjuna riding on a rath, on a chariot, with charioteer as Lord Krishna, having 5 horses. And Arjuna asks for help from Krishna. How can I kill my own relatives? How? Then Lord Krishna goes on ahead and tells it how. Lord Krishna shows his Vishvarupa, a universal form of Lord Krishna, where Arjuna sees all the different possibilities of the universe, of the whole wide universe, everything that has happened, that is happening, and that is about to happen, and that might happen. Each and everything was included in that Vishvarupa, a scene Lord Krishna showed to the Arjuna, and Arjuna saw all the possibilities, all the people that might have lived in the past, that might live in the future, and that are living. And just before the war, Lord Krishna made a promise to Arjuna. Arjuna, be victorious. Look at the tense. Be victorious. You have already won the war. I have already slain the enemies. Be victorious before the war. And we totally go blind in the sentences of Lord Krishna. And let me tell you the staging of this whole drama. It is a psychological drama. So think about this. Like, have you ever heard of the parables of tortoise and rabbit? They both contended for a race, and tortoise win the race. It was a story told us by our parents and the author to tell us something. Slow and steady wins the race. But in reality, we do know tortoise and rabbit were just a fictional character to tell us the importance of life. This is called parable. Similarly, a lot of childhood story we used to hear them in our childhoods that were there just to tell or teach us the lesson of life. In reality, there was no tortoise or rabbit that once stood on a single line just to race. No, it was a parable. Similarly, the whole psychological drama of Mahabharat was just a parable, a state of being, to tell us something, how to live life. But we are so much interested in the details. Who wore what kind of pendants, what kind of weapons, what kind of army, what kind of people involved in the Mahabharata, and what magical power do they possess. We went completely blind into that, and we completely skipped the real parable, the real adumbration, the real meaning, or the backstory, the lessons of the war. The author of the Mahabharata wrote the Mahabharata piece to tell us something in a form of parable, but we completely missed it. We still think there's something called Arjuna who lived in the past, who took the help of Lord Krishna, and this war happened in the past. We are so much interested in the characters, the nature of characters, the relation of characters, and we have fantasized it, created into different series, movies, serials, and we praise them. But we really do not seem to understand the real meaning or intention of the parable of the whole story. So, coming straight to the point, Arjuna on a rath, on a chariot with the Lord Krishna as charioteer, and just before the war, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, be victorious, you have already won the war, I have slain your enemies, be victorious. He made the prediction in present tense of something that is about to happen in the future. Lord Krishna made a statement to Arjuna in a present tense, be victorious, of something that will happen after 18 days, the victory of Arjuna. And this is the story is all about. And it goes on to the thing like Lord Krishna shows Arjuna his Vishwarupa, in which Arjuna see all the possibility of the universe. He saw where he was victorious. He saw where he was defeated. He saw all the people that might have lived, that are living, and that are going to live in the future. Each and every possibility. So consider this parable. Rath is nothing more than our physical whole form of body, our body. Rath is just a symbolization of our own body. Arjuna is nothing else than the symbolism of our own mind, our logical mind, our scared mind, our overthinking, doubting mind. And and Lord Krishna is nothing else than our own beautiful consciousness. And the 5 horses attached to the Rath is nothing than our five senses. The whole story is all about us. The author who wrote Mahabharata wrote that to tell us about something about ourselves only. Now consider it as a story of our own human being. We are Rath as our body, our mind is personified as Arjuna, and our consciousness is personified as Lord Krishna, and 5 horses personified as our senses. So how it is connected to manifestation? There is a war. Suppose you want to do something in your life. I'm not going to tell you what kind of desire you might be having. Desire have a reason in your life. That is the desire or the war of your life. Suppose if you want a happy family, and it means a lot of lot more than anything else in the world. Just a happy family, maybe a safe and secure financial status you want. This is your desire. And your mind that is ever doubting, full of anxiety, full of questions, full of each and every doubt that can ever happen, that is your Arjuna, your own mind. And your subconsciousness is the one who will drive you to the manifested or manifestation of yours. A successful business or a financial status where you feel secure. That is your desire. So when you desire something, you bring that future to your present tense, just like Lord Krishna said, be victorious. So if you desire a happy family, bring that to the present tense. I have a happy family, I have a secured business, I have certain relationship with a person. Bring that to the present sense and present tense. This is something will not happen in the future. You have to assume that you have that particular desire. And this is the basis of law of attraction and whatever the law you might put up to me. Law of assumption, law of attraction, each and everything. Mahabharata was originally just about this only. How to live life. If you have a desire, if you have something to achieve, bring it to the present tense and assume that feeling that you are that victorious. Be victorious. Be that person only. And completely give yourself to that feeling. Surrender to that feeling. If you want to be rich to a certain extent, there's no harm in that. Be that person right now. Assume that feeling. And you have to kill your relatives. And relatives are nothing else, just the personified version of your doubts, anxiety that is stopping you. You have to continuously monitor your mind and kill all those relatives. The war was about the killing relatives. So this is how you do it. Be victorious. Be the person you want to be. Assume the feeling and completely accept it. And whatever relative comes in front of you, your doubts, you have to kill them. You have to kill your relatives. And relatives are relatives. What are the relatives to Arjuna? When Arjuna is symbolism of our mind, what are the relatives of Arjuna? What are the relatives of our mind? Arjuna mentions like, how can I kill my relatives that I've played throughout these years from my childhood? So who are the relatives or these relationships of our mind? That our mind played with them throughout his childhood, throughout his adulthood. They are just the negative thinking, the doubts, the anxiety. So you have to continuously fight a war with your own thoughts. You know what you want. You bring it to the present tense. And whatever thought or negative intrusive thought, thinking comes opposite to it, you have to kill it. That is the real war. The whole Mahabharata was just a parable. The whole Mahabharata was the war of our mental fight. And Arjuna is nothing else than our own mind. You know what you want, ask yourself. It could be anything. You don't have to be ashamed for it. Like, you can want a car, you can definitely have a car. You want some kind of house, a big house, maybe a job, maybe a particular relationship. You appropriate it. You bring it to the present tense and completely assume it and be victorious in the right moment, in the moment of now. Then you go on throughout your day, 18 days, just killing your relatives, just killing your own thoughts that opposes them, that opposes your main desire. Those thoughts that says you cannot have it, you don't have money for it, maybe you do not have background for it, maybe you don't have qualification or merit for it. You go on the war of 18 days killing your own negative intrusive thoughts that are relative to your mind, relative to Arjuna, and you completely surrender yourself to your subconsciousness. That is Lord Krishna. This is the war Mahabharata was all about. And to some of you who might be listening, this might be something out of the blue or maybe unacceptable, which I will totally understand. What I would suggest you to put it in a practice just once. If it proves in the performance, then you know Mahabharata was what it was all about. And who was Lord Arjuna or who was Lord Krishna, you will know. And when you know this, then no matter the whole vast world says what, you know you have found who was Arjuna and Lord Krishna. And this is life. Mahabharata never happened in the past. It is continuously happening in each and every one of us. So how you can put it to the practice? You know what you want. Bring it to the present tense. Assume the feeling of having that desire, being victorious. And you start your war by just trusting Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna is none other than your own subconsciousness. But you have to fight a war. You have to kill the relatives. You have to kill the thoughts that opposes them. You do this day on, day on, day on, upcoming days, day and night. You do this. You fight the war. Whatever comes up into your mind, which is opposing your main desire, you kill it. And whatever you have assumed will come to pass. Be a material desire or any superficial desire or some kind of a relationship with any specific person. And if it comes to pass, then you know you have found it. And Mahabharata is once again the war that has never happened in the past. You can listen to all the scholars of the world, all the scientific community, all the archaeologists. They won't find any piece of proof or physical evidence of war because it never happened in the past. The author, the writer, wrote this story to tell us something in the form of parable. The eternal war. And this is once again, I'm not speculating. I'm not theorizing. I'm telling you from this my experience. So once it proves in the performance, then you keep on practicing this. And you live live your whole way or life by this principle only, the principle of war, the principle of Mahabharata. And this is something I have not told you to change your faith in some god or another entity. It is something I'm telling you. I'm sharing your own experience. You can put it to the practice and see. And I can assure you, as long as you kill your own relatives or thoughts, it will never fail. You will be victorious. Just before the war, assume the feeling, what do you want to be in the present state? And you just go on into the war, trusting in your Lord Krishna, that is your own subconsciousness, killing all the negative thoughts which comes in between. And it will be passed into your life. So this was the Mahabharata, and we completely went blind, considering this as a secular history, reading about the characters, what character possessed what, and we created a lot of drama series, movies around it, but we simply do not understood the real parable of the whole story. So whenever you come across Gita, just look at the very first Bhagavad Gita. You look across the front page, the book cover, and put it into practice. And may I tell you, it will never fail. You might lose the war because you might not be able to kill the relatives or your negative thoughts. But if you successfully kill it, whatever you desire, whatever the thing you needed to survive in this world will come to pass. So this is something I have shared with you, and in a hope that manifestation is just this. Manifestation is not a cheap tool or technique to achieve your desire. It's a way of living. Meditation is all about this only, controlling your thoughts. And this is something I am sharing you from my own experience, and I have experienced this, and I knew now no power in this world can convince me of otherwise. Who was Arjuna, Lord Krishna? So this is manifestation. It is the art of assuming your desires in the present tense and assuming it to be true, and you move throughout your life just in single assumption that you are already victorious of your desires, and you continuously kill your negative thoughts that opposes it. I hope I made sense in this video, and this is straight coming out of my experience. So once again, the main intention again remains the same, to tell you the real art of conscious living, how do you live your life consciously. And this is the art of manifestation, not something that influencers used to teach about. They will tell you different techniques, do it under the moon, do it under the sun, maybe with the help of 2 glass, 3 glass, water transfer, pillow technique, this technique or that technique. Though if you are dependent upon those techniques, you are bound to fail, because you really do not understand the real meaning or the intention or the background or the knowledge of manifestation. I hope this helps, and I know this will help.